Now, welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's once again get right to the news.
Okay, we've got 3 stories for you today, so we'll delve right on in. First up, Ewan McGregor thinks Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2 will eventually happen.
My turn to grumble.
Obi-Wan Kenobi was always described as a limited series, a 6-part event that would kind of wrap up Ewan McGregor's time as the character. However, leading up to the series, Kathleen Kennedy and Ewan McGregor started toying around with the possibility of coming back for another season. While there's no official confirmation that a new season will happen, McGregor said recently that he thinks sooner or later it will. The actor was recently a guest on Celebrity Fan Fest, where he was asked about the possibility of Obi-Wan Kenobi coming back for a second season, to which he responded, "I'm totally up for it, guys. I want to do it. I'm absolutely honest, there is no plan to make one yet, but I'm pretty sure they're just biding their time, but nobody's approached me as of yet." I mean, he was an executive producer on the show, so he would be in the know, I would suppose.
Well, that's the first step, right? Getting Ewan back on board, and he seems very
He's been
excited
on board
for the possibility of it.
I think he's been on board for Season 2 before Season 1 happened.
I know. I think it's great that Ewan is excited for Obi. I always like when the actors are excited for their characters and for the content. I get that side of it. And I'm happy that he's happy and wants to do it again.
Absolutely.
Yet I don't really have any interest in seeing a Kenobi Season 2, which kind of makes me sad to say.
What if Season 2 was what you wanted out of Season 1? I mean, what
It's
if now that
kinda
we've
too late
seen
for that,
Qui-Gon, what if...
Yeah, but it's way too late. I mean, unless you're just going to go... And they're never going to do that, right? I mean, from Season 1, we know that they have really no interest in kind of...
doing the introspective story that you wanted?
I mean, that's over. I mean, I'd watch a series of Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan sitting in the desert talking about the Force for an hour per episode. Sure.
Yeah, you would.
I'd watch that. I think a lot of people listening to this would be like, I'd watch that too. I don't think many others would watch that. And so I think you've already kind of missed the boat with what I think, and just what I think a lot of fans wanted to see out of Kenobi, which was more of that kind of introspect, that kind of personal story that really delved into him, not him running off to save Leia. I mean, I'm not saying you can't like it. I'm not saying, as always, that there weren't good aspects to it, but by and large, it was just kind of a mediocre, generic show, in my opinion. It wasn't anything special. You took one of the top 2 or 3 characters in the franchise, and you kind of made a mediocre show with them. And that's what really disappoints me. It's not that not that you can't do something fun and exciting and just have an adventure, but you took a character where you really needed to up your game, and you just gave us average.
I can agree with a lot of that. But they have that story thread to figure out. What happens to Reva?
Oh, well.
Maybe she goes in the desert and trains too? I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, if you wanted to do a Reva series, that's something different entirely.
That's a totally different spin-off that they'll probably look into doing.
I think they wanted to. I don't know that she got the... And, certainly there are fans that just flat out didn't like her, but I don't know that the side that did like her... Not that I want to talk about sides. It's, everybody can have their own opinion. Not everybody falls into neat categories when it comes to Star Wars fans, but I think a lot of people that even liked her don't really have a ton of interest in her, getting her own series. I could be dead wrong, but just even the positive things I've seen about Kenobi, the people who like Reva, I don't see a lot of I can't wait till we get a Reva show. That would be the best thing ever.
I think they muddied the water a little too much with that character. Either she's a bad guy or she's a good guy. What is she a Jedi secretly trying to plot revenge? Because if so, she's going about it a very poor way.
Yeah, when you logically break down her motivations and her story, it just doesn't make a ton of sense, right? I'm so mad that, the Jedi were killed that I'm going to go kill Jedi to get revenge on the one who killed the Jedi.
Which is where her story seems to fall apart, because that's the logic of a crazy person.
Yes, that's
but she's
kind of
not
insanity.
I mean, if they would have played her off as an absolute nut job, okay, but they didn't. We did see this beautiful depth of acting and those emotional
she was really good in the last
that
2
she
episodes.
had.
Sure.
But by then it was too late, because we're like, wait, you've been cutting off people's hands and
exactly.
You've been threatening farmers with death, going to extremes past what the Inquisitors wanted to do.
You were torturing a child. You were moments away from really torturing Leia. I mean, yes, you can have the sympathetic villain, and you can do all these things. You can have the redemption story. Obviously, this is Star Wars. You can have redemption stories, but sometimes you don't want to forgive characters. Like, they've done too much. Like, yes, you can see the whole Anakin story, for example, but end of Return of the Jedi. Yes, so Luke, forgives his father. I don't know if he forgives him, but he certainly, loves his father, and he's redeemed, and all these good things. But that doesn't necessarily mean like Anakin is now everything's cool. All those bad things you did are cool now, Anakin. Like, it's all forgiven. Like I said, only Luke really gives him redemption, and that's all Vader cares about. That's all Anakin cares about in that moment. The rest of the galaxy is not forgiving Darth Vader, no matter what he's done.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the hardest things is they'd have to really dig deep to find a plot for season 2.
Yeah. For Kenobi
unless they
or
don't
Reva.
care about making fans happy at all. They'll just do some... I mean, they can't do... I mean, the closer we get to his New Hope appearance, the less crazy stuff he can do.
Yeah.
At this point, you're really now shoe-hammered that he needs to stay and train. It's not an overnight process to learn how to be a Force ghost, I'm sure.
No, unless you're Leia or Anakin or some of the others who got the easy pass, I guess. They skipped the line and whatever that's called when you go to a theme park. I feel like that's what they got.
The lightning pass.
They got their lightning pass and just immediately get to go to Force Ghost, which Skywalker lineage, I guess, has something to do with it.
We don't know how much training.
Yeah, we can
or what they were trained in, we don't know.
Well, Leia doesn't. I mean, Leia has a little bit of training, from Luke. I don't think that's enough.
Maybe he started with Force Ghost tutorial, and that's what it bored her so much. She was like, "Yeah,
why are we starting with this? When do we get to do some lightsaber? No. When you die, you're gonna really want this. Trust me.
Really want this."
But I mean, we can, for fun, debate that some other time. But I don't know what is the story with Kenobi season 2. I don't know that you want him again leaving planet and doing more. I don't know. I guess
it's weird.
I guess some people liked it, and that's fine if you did. But I just don't want to see any more of that.
There were
that's fine.
A lot of things I liked, but a lot of things I just crooked my head to the side and went, "Huh?" Moving on. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2 for the articles today. Giancarlo Esposito hypes up The Mandalorian Season 3, as if we weren't hyped up already.
Yeah, that doesn't need hyping. I mean, that's the one thing I think even the most disgruntled Star Wars fans are like, well, I'm probably going to watch that.
Probably watch that. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
All right, so Giancarlo Esposito recently made an appearance at Thomas J. Henry's superhero car show in Comic-Con in San Antonio, Texas.
Superhero car show? So the cars are the superheroes?
Sure. They probably brought his TIE fighter.
With the folding wings. Why did he get those folding wings?
He is the king of parallel parking. All right. Sorry. I lost my spot. All right, so he was asked about the future of Moff Gideon in The Mandalorian. We know where he left off. He was going to be facing his crimes and probably executed by the New Republic. Esposito said the chances of Gideon returning in a future season of The Mandalorian are very high, adding the following. I got to tell you, just to share something with you without spoiling anything, Season 3 of The Mandalorian is off the chain. You'll be amazed. Now, if he tells me it's off the chain, I believe him. I believe him 100%.
He's got one of those voices where you don't argue. I mean,
you don't argue.
No, you don't argue with him.
You don't argue with Moff Gideon.
No, everything I see him in, he's just fantastic. So I'm more than happy to see more Moff Gideon. I even said a while ago, he's probably, even though you don't see a ton of him in The Mandalorian, he might just be the best villain of the Disney era created.
His presence is felt, and that's important.
He's got that.
He's got that cold villain down.
Yes, I know that's kind of an insult and a compliment at the same time to say you naturally come off as a villain, but he does. He's just got the presence. He's got the voice. He's got everything about him. Yep.
Esposito has long been confirmed as a returning actor for Season 3, so we are more focused on that second part of the quote, about, I'm not going to spoil anything. It's amazed. You'll be amazed. The actors from the show, they've, some of them have been teasing it, Carl Weathers, who's both a director and actor in the new season, he praised how layered the actual storyteller is. Pedro Pascal called it better than Season 2. I'm all in for Mando. When are we getting that trailer? You want to know my guess?
Probably after Rogue One or something.
Rogue
after
One.
Andor, yes.
No, want my guess?
Sure.
Either it's going to be September 8th or September 10th. I'm going to bank on September 8th.
These dates have meaning, I trust.
They do, in our next article.
I mean, we've already seen the Mandalorian trailer. I mean,
sort of.
Well, you can find some decent copies now online on YouTube.
More of them get caught every day, I feel like.
There's been one that's been up there for a few days that's really good. That if you haven't seen it yet, I would go hunt that one down.
Nah, don't spoil it for you.
It's not. There's nothing spoiler about it.
I'm just saying,
really.
Wait till the high def, get the great quality, good sound.
Well, sure, but
I don't
it's
need
actually
to see the back of someone's head.
No, it's a decent quality version. It's not. It's like camcordered, but it's like nobody else in the. It's one of the back in the day when I don't know. Did they still do camcorder movies? I feel like that was a big thing like 10 years ago, where every film got like camcordered, and I don't know if people even use the word camcorder anymore, but
no.
Considering we have cell phones, but I think I just showed my age a little bit there, but
camcorder.
Camcordered. Oh boy. But anyway, it is like a quote-unquote camcordered version that's actually pretty decent. So if you haven't seen it, I do recommend that one.
I don't.
Not the angled with people's heads in the way and then like the screen, they miss the screen for a few minutes and then half the screen. No, it's a decent version.
I recommend waiting a little longer.
I mean, sure, if you've waited this long.
Ultra quality, good sound.
But they'll probably do a new version. They're probably not going to release that one. They're going to do a different one.
You don't know?
Yeah, they usually do.
All right, let's move on to our last article so we can talk more. Yay.
I thought I'd already been talking quite a bit.
All right. Disney Plus Day to feature epic events and surprises on September 8th. Disney Plus has teased on social media that this year's Disney Plus Day will be on September 8th and filled with epic events, premieres, surprises, and so much more. The event will happen the day before D23 Expo kicks off in Anaheim, California. Lucasfilm will be co-hosting a panel with Marvel Studios on Saturday, September 10th, 12 p.m. Central Time. This is actually going to be the second Disney Plus Day, though. Last year's event took place on November 12th. In the previous edition, Disney Plus premiered multiple projects on the platform, in addition to teasing a lot of upcoming projects on their Twitter thread. Yes. Star Wars was barely mentioned, though, with Lucasfilm only showcasing a featurette on Obi-Wan Kenobi that had already been shown to investors 11 months before. Marvel announced multiple projects.
Marvel
quick
always
teases
like
for the
10
three
projects.
shows they plan to release in 2022.
Marvel probably announced 10 projects today. I mean,
well, Lucasfilm also had premiered the documentary, the short on Boba Fett's legacy, the Under the Helm.
Yeah.
So we don't know what to expect from the September 8th yet, especially with it being 2 days before Lucasfilm is going to be presenting at D23. But the speculation right now is that at D23 they're going to talk more about Indiana Jones.
Sure.
And the Acolyte.
That's Indiana Jones is next summer, right?
Mm-hmm. So they're thinking the big topics for that are going to be Indiana Jones and the Acolyte.
Okay.
And that on D23, either online or on the platform, we're going to see some of those trailers that were premiered at...
Oh, so you think we're going to see them. So now I'm telling people to go watch the crappy version, the camcordered version.
I said, hold on and wait.
I don't know.
I think that's where we're going to... Disney Plus Day, that's where we're going to get the things that you couldn't see at Celebration.
But you could if you found them online.
But you couldn't see them well.
Fair enough.
There's also rumors going around that those are dates you're going to see the official new little posters put up there with dates for projects. Bad Batch had a September 28th original date, but then they moved Andor.
So is Bad Batch staying? Have we had any confirmation that
That's what I think we're going to find out on September 8th. I think we're going to also get more definition on what day we can expect Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah, because that's supposed to be
relatively
soon too.
We might also, who knows, we might even get a date for The Mandalorian. I mean, we could be getting new posters with dates for projects, or at least...
Maybe they finally figured out the schedule to keep everybody, subscribed to Disney Plus. Just space it out perfectly so you can't unsubscribe. We know that is always the plan. But I wouldn't be surprised if Bad Batch gets postponed a week or two, right? I mean, really, you're going to debut a series, and the next week you're going to debut another one after not having a new series for, well over half a year since...
Yeah, they'll be doing releases on the Twitter account. They'll be doing releases on actually the Disney Plus platform. So, something we will be keeping an eye on. Something you should be keeping an eye on. Well, you don't have to. We'll keep an eye on it for you. How about that?
Yeah, don't tell them to find their own news. Come on now.
Well, they still want to hear you ramble about it, I think.
Do they, though? I guess.
I think some people are only here to hear you ramble.
No, they're here for you.
That's very nice of you to say. I don't believe it, but it's nice of you to say. I just present news while you derail the train every time.
No, I don't.
The
train is on the tracks.
Is it?
Yes, I feel like it is.
In the article about The Mandalorian, you were telling people to go find a bootleg copy of the
I didn't know. I did not specifically say go find a bootleg copy. But
Winky
they're out
face.
there, so go find them, yeah, if you really want. Or wait till
Oh wait,
Disney
I
Plus
think
Day,
Disney Plus Day is going to give you the nice.
Potentially.
Well, and if you watch the trailers, if you have Disney Plus, if you watch the trailer on Disney Plus, you always get the highest quality
you're gonna
of
get
the trailer.
4K, if you know, HDR.
So I would
all the fun
not be
stuff.
surprised if we'll see that up there. I wouldn't be surprised if the Acolytes preview goes up there. Maybe
Acolyte's previewed. Did that actually get previewed?
not Acolyte. I'm talking about Ahsoka.
Okay.
The Ahsoka preview reel. I wouldn't be surprised if that gets put up somewhere.
Okay.
We might get some dates for a few projects. Maybe a new logo. I don't know.
Maybe a new announcement.
Maybe a new announcement.
Maybe the Lando series
Or-
will creep out of nowhere. And
Nah, I think that will, I think that'll be at the
itself.
panel. I think that wouldn't be just
I think
on
the
Disney
Lando
Plus
series
Day.
is never going to happen. That's my bold. I know. Lucasfilm announcing a project that never happens. I know.
Well, they're waiting on Donald Glover, who says he's waiting on who knows what.
Yeah. Like, and it's unfortunate because I really would have liked that. Bring in, like I said, Billy D. Williams, have him kind of narrate it, do the Chronicles of Lando. I think you got a fun idea. I mean,
Well, if they call it Lando, though, it won't be about Lando.
Riva's going to show up and hijack the series.
Oh my goodness, there
See, she is redeemable. We'll find out why in that series. But no, let's not derail it. I wouldn't mind a Lando series bringing back, Billy D. while he's still with us. He's getting old. I mean, so let's
kind of him narrating a Chronicles.
He's another
of
one of
his
those guys
past.
that seems to really love his character, who really gets into it. He just did the Lego Star Wars Summer, so I'm sure he would do it. Let's let him cap off his legacy of the character. I don't know. Just my thoughts.
I'm down for that.
All right, well, that's all we got for you this time. So take to the comments below and tell us what you think of today's news. And let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.